talking about itty bitty podcast. Talking about podcast. One of my snaps got off and nothing could fix it. One of my snaps went rogue.
Man, we had a lot of dissonance there. I'm Carter. Merry Monday, Chunkies.
That's just jazz, baby.
That's just jazz, baby. Merry Mini Monday. I'm Carter.
I'm Doge, and this week is going to be a good episode.
I think jazz are the notes you don't plan to sing in the snaps that you mess up. That's
jazz is the notes you accidentally play.
Yeah. Jazz is just the mistakes you make.
Hello, friends. Today's word of the day.
Oh, he's doing the thing again with the
for extra credit.
Is this word of the day?
Yeah.
If they say this word, we have to play
the
extra credit. Today's word of the day is. Wait for it. Today's word of the day is drip. Okay, gave it to him.
You look 500 years old when you did that.
It's a little, when I turn the light on, it's a little Abraham, like, watch. 407 years ago.
Hey, do you remember
Lincoln-y?
Do you remember those things where it was like a
James McAvoy
deal?
Wait, go back.
Oh yeah, it is a little James McAvoy. It's the mouth. It's the mouth. Yeah. Do you remember those like concave things where it's like at a certain angle they looked like a face?
Yeah.
Your face turns into one of the. It's a concave Doge.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Concave Doge.
It's inverse Doge.
It's
Nega Doge.
Stalactite Doge.
Jode.
Mm-hmm. Guys, let's
Jode from the dark dimension.
Everything's a touch Michael Douglas now from you, and I really enjoy it.
It's because I'm the Austin Butler of podcasting. Once I play a role, I get stuck in that role.
I don't want to be mean to Austin Butler. He seems like a nice guy. I don't think he's doing it to be pretentious.
Well, I don't think so either. I think it's wonderful.
If you look back, look at me when I was a baby on Nickelodeon. I've always talked like this.
Was he a Nickelodeon boy?
What?
Yeah.
What? In what?
He was like a kid actor. I don't know. I didn't watch Nickelodeon.
You didn't watch Nickelodeon?
When he was younger, he was on Nickelodeon. What was he? Kid actor. Okay. That's
You didn't watch?
He was one of those actors.
One of the younger ones.
One of the little fellas, one of the little guys.
Jode phonetically makes me think of a game that I'd love to play right now called jjjolf. I think this might be our first time to play jjjolf. Jjjolf this year? Have we played jjjolf in 2023?
I don't believe so.
iCarly, Ned's Declassified School Survivor Guide. Out of Jimmy's Head. Zoe 101.
There you go.
These are the films of Austin Butler.
These are the films.
Answer for your crimes.
Answer for your crimes. If this is your first episode to ever listen to of Two Chunks, I hope you stick around. At least give me 3 more minutes. Jjjolf is
Give us another chance.
Jjjolf is a game much like golf, but with 3 J's. That startled me in Mr. E. Hey, Callie. Saw Callie come through that door, and it scared me a little bit. I've been reading
I'm not
Silence
alone.
of the Lambs. I finished Silence of the Lambs, and I was reading about how James Gunn was trying to decide what he was going to do with Clarice's skin after he murders her in the dark and she can't see him. Right at that moment, my wife coughed in her sleep. And the book almost made it to the other side of the room. I was very startled. But speaking of jjjolf, jjjolf is a game in which I will read the title of a movie.
Carterbot. Somebody go wind up Carterbot.
Rotten Tomatoes, Flickster, whatever you call it these days, movie. And we can do the critics review on the tomato meter or the audience review. Very often they choose the critic review and they try to stay within X amount of strokes. They only have 22 strokes that they can stay within for the entire game. And they try and land as many of those movies within the allotted strokes as possible. We begin jjjolf with we're gonna stick in the mystery theme here, and we're gonna go backwards in time. We're not gonna talk about things that aren't out yet because that's not really what this game is
hard.
for. That's really tough, and there's probably not a rating for it. But I do want to go ahead and have us do Zodiac. We talked about Zodiac on our last episode when we were doing some fun David Fincher and David Fincher things. Are we going to go with the tomato meter or the audience score for Zodiac here, boys.
Tomato.
Tomato always.
Who would like to go first?
You can go first, Jordan.
Okay.
Jordan is going to go first, trying to guess the tomato meter score for Zodiac. Are you muted, Doge? I think he is. Yeah, he can't hear us.
Jordan? 91.
Does what?
94%.
Ooh. Yeah, we're very close. The actual
What did you
retail
say, Jordan?
price.
I said 91.
Jordan said 91. The tomato meter score for Zodiac, 90%.
Oh.
Jordan is down to 21. Doge is down to 18. Let's keep it in the Jakey Gyllenhaal mystery.
Please.
How about Prisoners? What do you think the Denis Villeneuve film, the tomato meter score, going first this time will be Doge? Jordan, if you would mute. He took out him pods.
93.
87.
The actual retail price, 81.
Dang.
Doge said 93. He loses 12 strokes. It's down to 6. Jordan said 87. Loses. No. Did you say 87?
I did.
Loses 6 and is down to 15. Our scores are 15.
Look at the golden
6.
bear of Jolf over here.
The more, the better. I love that. Sports pull there. Now let's take.
Yeah, I love sports.
Now let's take a huge jacked man and put him into a mystery here. Let's talk about
Prisoners again.
The Prestige. The Prestige.
Ah, the Prestige.
Prestige.
Jordan, you'll go first on that tomato meter.
93.
Doge?
78.
Phenomenal. The actual retail price, 76%.
The
Jordan.
Prestige?
Jordan loses 17 strokes,
Hard.
putting him over to -2.
Hard, I lost.
was
The
only 2
Prestige?
off. Wins
Ooh.
with 4. Isn't that wild?
The
Proof your life can
Prestige?
change in an instant.
Sorry, just double checking again. The Prestige is a 77?
Yeah.
What did you guess? 91? 81?
90 something. Yeah.
So,
That movie is far better than a 70
Hey.
anything.
here's a rotten
Were you
review
watching
for it.
closely?
Yes, I was watching closely. That's
Here's
an
a rotten
amazing
review
movie.
for
That's a
it.
ridiculous rating.
Kathy
It's a great
Mao
movie.
of the Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction, so she probably knows what she's talking about. She says, rotten, the Prestige does not impress as a magic act. It is an elaborate contraption that leaves the viewer confounded and confused, but never feeling particularly entertained or delighted by the performance.
Completely disagree.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree
I would say
more.
that's an ice cold take.
Brandon Phibbs of BrandonPhibbs.com says, in a movie about
okay, it's in the name. He's fibbing.
It's in the name. In a movie about people who make their living on misdirection, the Prestige utterly forgets to employ its own. And then finally,
Shock.
Joshua Rothkopf of Time Out says, the who's bilking whom mind games make for compelling fun, but once the presto moment of the Prestige is revealed, you're left with nothing but shattered illusions.
Are these all reviews from like the time it came out? Like they're from, 20 years ago, however old that movie is?
I don't know. It didn't really say the date on that. I could have detailed it in, but it didn't.
Dude, I hate rating systems for movies because they're all so asinine. Like every time, if a movie is older than 15 years, it begins to degrade. Like the rating begins to degrade. It's like people are like, it's old, so it can't be good anymore.
Ours is good though, huh?
Well, ours is, I feel like a wider funnel.
Right? It has to be, right?
Are y'all down for another game? Do you want to play another game?
What if we said no?
Try it.
What would happen?
Try.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm in.
Fine.
Gosh.
Did one of us say the word of the day?
No. You
Okay,
haven't.
good.
Y'all haven't
I
said
got
the word
really
of the
worried
day.
about that.
Okay, that's where I thought we were headed with this.
This one was a little bit
Yeah.
more difficult. You'd have to be really creative ultimately to say this word. So
Good thing we're not creative.
that's the thing. That's what's the good thing about it. I would like to stay over here in the Flickster world, play a quick game of Rumpelstiltskin.
We've beyond guess the name, win the Rumpelstiltskin game.
In which I will read the descriptor, also known as the movie info over here on the Flickster world of some movies that are coming out very soon that I am assuming these boyos have not heard of. They have to guess the name of the movie in order to win. We begin. Oh, yeah, here we go. So, the story of one young hippie's quest in the 1970s for belonging and liberation that leads not only to peace, love, and rock and roll, but that sets into motion a new counterculture crusade, changing the course of history. It's inspired by a true movement. What's this movie called? The genre drama and history, in case you want to know. Comes out February 24th, 2023.
I think this is Woodstock the movie.
Okay.
This movie's called Hippie Hippie Hooray.
It's this might change y'all's title here. It does star Kelsey Grammer. Do you want to change that?
This movie's called Frasier Hooray.
Frasier Hooray.
This movie's
Woodstock
called
the
Frasier:
movie.
Origins.
This movie that comes out February 24th is called Jesus Revolution.
Hey, Kelsey, not interested.
This movie, rated R, an hour and 44 minutes, comes out March 10th. A modern horror creature feature. This movie shows us just how far we will go to protect those we love. Londoners, Maya and Jamie. Maya and Jamie are looking for a way out of their urban nightmare to raise their unborn child. So when they inherit a house in rural Ireland, I was close. They jump at the chance to flee from the dangers of city living. Yet, this new home holds primeval secrets. At the bottom of their garden is an ancient gnarled wood where a supernatural presence lurks. What is this movie called? It's got a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Don't even know how.
Well, I'm going to give a serious answer because I think
Hodor's in this.
I feel good. I think this movie is called Willow, short for Willow the Wisp.
This movie's called Pot of Gold.
Pot of Gold.
The gnarled wood is the entrance to a leprechaun cave.
I almost said that this was just like Leprechaun 8.
Yeah. This movie is called, it stars Hannah John Kamen. This is the girl that was Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh. Ant-Man.
Ant-Man. Pym. This movie is called Unwelcome. Burp. Y'all's are much better. Burp, I guess. Burp. Let's find another one here. Oh, did y'all ever watch Luther?
No.
Idris
No.
Elba? It's very good. There's a movie coming out
Luther.
February 24th. Very good. What looks interesting? Ooh. Okay. Coming out February 3rd. When new laws make cannabis legal, there are limited dispensary licenses available, and black market marijuana dealer Vince may go out of business. He's desperate to make one final score, but borrows money from the wrong people. This is an action, crime, drama, mystery thriller. I'll even give you a scene. I'll even give you a screenshot. That's just a scene. What do you think it's called? What's this movie called?
Hey, that's for sure some people standing. Cool screenshot of a movie. They definitely had a camera on that set.
What say you?
I mean, it's probably called like The Stash House or something like that, but I'm going to say it's called High Hopes.
Oh.
This movie's called Grow.
Y'all continue to show your creativity. You need to be into business. This movie is called The Last Deal. Boo.
Name things better.
Name things interesting. Like, I know I'm not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but if it has dumb words on the front, I'm never going to pick it up. So at least put a little thought in the cover.
Yeah, never going to pick it up. Wait, this is really interesting. We're going to do one more. This is a fantasy action, animation, comedy, horror genre. Alberto Vasquez. It's Bambi meets Apocalypse Now in this provocative and strangely beautiful horror comedy from acclaimed filmmaker and illustrator Alberto Vasquez, known of Bird Boy, The Forgotten Children, who uses its outrageous candy-colored premise to explore religious zealotry, the tortured legacies of military fascism, and the depths of the soul. Here's the concept. You ready? For ages, teddy bears have been locked in an ancestral war against their sworn enemy, the unicorns, with the promise that victory will complete the prophecy and usher in a new era. Aggressive, confident teddy bear Blewett and his sensitive, withdrawn brother Tubby could not be more different. As the rigors and humiliation of Teddy Bear Boot Camp turn to the psychedelic horrors of a combat tour in the Magic Forest, their complicated history and increasingly strained relationship will come to determine the fate of the entire war. I'm just now getting y'all's faces after reading that really intense movie info.
That seems pretty ambitious.
Comes out March 10th. There's a trailer.
I'm going to need you to send me that.
Yeah. What's
Is this called like Teddy Bear Picnic or something? Like the nursery rhyme? Sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's Bambi meets Apocalypse Now. How am I supposed to figure out where the center of that bullseye is?
The first line in the trailer is, "Here, cuddles are made of steel, blood, and pain."
What?
This movie is called Teddy or Not.
Teddy or Not. It's called Unicorn Wars. Let's go to ads. We're back from ads after watching a fresh trailer for Unicorn Wars. And
it's a yes from me, TBH.
I think I'm in.
We've been duped. It actually looks pretty good.
It does look pretty good.
I will be watching it.
It says it streams
Very
on March
bloody.
10th. So,
oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching that. It's very bloody.
It feels like if Happy Tree Friends had a point.
That's funny.
Other than shock.
Yeah.
Other than just absolute shock. Good grief.
I haven't thought about Happy Tree Friends in a minute.
But Sad Tree
I don't even know what
Friends,
that
I think
is.
about every day.
I technically don't even know what that is. Sorry.
It's an internet animated series where a bunch of cuddly cute animals like kill and dismember each other on accident in horrific ways. It was big in like the early aughts.
It was one of those classic like,
Oh,
you
late
just got an
aughts,
iPhone? You just got an iPhone? Can you watch Happy Tree Friends on the bus with me?
Yeah.
I want to do something new for us here at the second half of this Mini Monday. I think one of my favorite values of Two Chunks and a Hunk is love what you love. In the relationships that we can have sometimes with our favorite and least favorite actors and actresses, there's tons of in and outs. There's like, man, there's the moments where you want to give up. Like none of us have still, from what I know, none of us have watched Andor.
No.
So it's like this, there's just this massive fatigue here. We tend to have like Mount Rushmores that we say, here's our favorites. We've got a Hunky award for someone who's on the way up that we're really excited to see. Maybe a younger artist or maybe someone who, like Jonathan Majors.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say it right?
Yeah, you got
Okay.
it. Yeah.
That one should
Even
be
the
good.
Hawk of
be
the
honest
world.
with you.
That's pretty regular words and names
Well,
for him.
I think like Jonathan Isaac, Jonathan Abrams, it's tough.
No, neither of those
Neither
are
of those
anything.
are people.
Neither of those are
Neither of
anything.
those names are people, actually. You thinking of Jason Isaac?
Jason Isaacs and J.J. Abrams?
And J.J. Abrams?
For this episode, I want to introduce a segment called
Wowzers.
Banished. These are going to be directors, actors, anybody that we're like, hey, I'm just not interested anymore. It would take the pulling of teeth for me to be back in. I don't know. I need to have a conversation around M. Night Shyamalan. No way. I'm not even trying to. M. Night.
Nope.
Let's have a conversation around M. Night. Knock at the Cabin
Nah.
looks
Oh my gosh.
interesting to me, though.
It does look interesting to me as well.
No.
Are you out? Can we, do you banish M. Night? Are you like, I am done? What would it take? So, Doge, you seem to be the most out on M. Night. This is a guy who started hot, was kind of doing stuff nobody was doing.
Yeah.
And then progressively, almost in an exact steady decline until Airbender, when it became a cliff.
And then
off.
after Airbender was After Earth, which like he just kind of stayed at the bottom. So it's like,
Just
man,
not-
I think that you can track the career of like,
done Devil.
like you
Old.
do something great early, and then you get less and less training wheels, less and less safety net until you're the arbiter of all the decisions in the process. And turns out, oops, you have good ideas, but you can't execute them. And then suddenly you don't really have good ideas anymore.
Or you can
So
only
I'm-
execute, which was Zack Snyder,
Yeah.
who did it in a really interesting way. And then he was he is banished.
Snyder,
Snyder is
I'm
banished.
done. Yeah,
Snyder's
I have no
banished.
interest.
Completely
Zack
banished.
Snyder is
So-
not only is he not a selling point for me, he is an active detractor of my interest.
Yeah. He's banished.
I think he's a hack, dude. I'm sorry. I know there's a bunch of
Directors-
Zack Snyder fans.
Directors are going to have a much bigger influence for me of whether I don't see it because of how much creative control they have in those situations. Actors are a lot tougher because there could be other actors that I like that lift them up a little bit. It's kind of the person that like normally it wouldn't be a one-on-one hangout, but they came with Doge and Jordan. So it's like, cool. Like, let's hang. Jared
They're a
Leto,
friend's
if there
friend.
was a movie that it was only Jared Leto, I'm out. Banished.
Yeah,
May I
he's
introduce
an
you to
active
Morbius?
detractor for me. He's banished for me, Jared
Yeah.
Leto.
So
So we love
with
Morbius.
Morbius was fun. M. Night, though, Doge, what would it take? Like, what would it take for you to be back? For him to be welcomed back with open arms, even?
An interesting premise, and then about a month after release, sustained positive reviews.
Yeah, I was gonna say it can't.
Like,
just
I'm not
only
gonna
up
be
to
on
you.
the-
Someone.
I'm
would have
not going to be on the
convince
front lines. He's outside of my castle. He's banging on the gate. I'm not going to be the one to open it. But if somebody else opens it and lets him in, and is like, hey, he's actually pretty chill now, I'm going to go see what it's all about.
Yeah, M. Night has never been anybody I cared even a little bit about. I think he's incredibly overhyped. Even his early stuff, I think, is overhyped, overrated. It's good. It is good. But he's never been one that really did much for me. So I don't even know that I would say he's banished because my opinion of him has always kind of been like he had a couple good hits and then, nothing else. So Signs is good. Sixth Sense is good. Village is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely more bad than good in his career because
Yeah.
he just kept doing.
So it's hard for me to say he's banished because it's not like it was like I never really have had much connection to him at all. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's
not
an
my
interesting
guy.
dynamic, especially when you consume a lot of TV and film. That is kind of like almost like the dynamic of a relationship, even though it's asynchronous, right? It's just us taking
Yeah.
in this content, and so there's like a downswing and an upswing, and there's a very interesting downswing that I maybe have not vocally agreed with, but I'm getting there on what was very much a favorite of this podcast. But let's take a moment in this section of banishment to talk about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Mm.
Yeah.
This is hard
Yeah.
for us because he is a member of the family. I think Vin is unbanishable because he's so aloof.
Yeah.
There's something about Vin Diesel that because of his
He's
harmless
above
ignorance-
being vanished.
If he had an
Exactly.
ounce of self-awareness, I would banish him, but he doesn't. So I just let
Yes.
him do
Yeah.
whatever he wants to do.
He's
He's like
that
he's
why-
like the 100-year-old turtle that your grandfather bought. And she's like, this turtle's just here now. The turtle lives here, and so do I.
Yeah.
So what's got The Rock feeling a certain way? I
The
don't
Rock
know
is
if
wearing
I'm-
me out, dude.
What is it? What is it exactly?
He just needs to chill a little bit. Like, he is the Hollywood equivalent of the like hustle bro,
Yeah, for sure.
who's like, if your friends aren't talking about investment, like that kind of thing. He's that
Pyramid
guy
scheme
where he's
guy?
like, I'm always making moves. I've always got something, always got something cooking. But like, can you smell it? His whole like, I don't know, man. It's exhausting of him like posting on Instagram like, gotta wake up and start my day with 37,000 calories because I'm eating 100 pancakes because I'm gonna lift big. If you don't lift big, you don't dream big. It's like, Dwayne, chill. Like you're fine. I promise.
There are very likely a lot of big characters in the movie business that are on the grind inevitably, right? But it's one thing to be on it and not talk as much about it. It's another thing to 24/7 talk about it, right? Is that part of the fatigue here?
I'm getting the same kind of vibe from Ryan Reynolds, honestly, where it's like you are no longer a person, you're no longer a performer, you're a brand. And like I get that there is an element of like if you want to be a movie star, that's when you become a brand more than just a performer. But like it is so like sellouty. The Rock feels the same way to me where it's like any company that's like, will you advertise this for us? He's like, yes, as long as it can be my thing, as long as I can have it. Like he didn't invent Terramana. He didn't invent Zoa. Like those were pitched to him. And he's like, yeah, sure, absolutely. This fits my brand. Will you put my face on the can and the bottle?
I don't care about any of that. The reason I'm out on him is that it seems like he has just forgotten what he is. And it's like, instead of
remember who you are.
Yeah, he's forgotten the face of his father. Instead of being the fun, like charming action guy who is just kind of eccentric and weird, but is really, really fun being a big dude in movies, he wants to be Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Where it's like he wants to be the guy who makes things happen and the guy who pulls it together and does the stunts and like all this stuff. And that's just not him. I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, I could care less. He could have 50 tequilas and 100 brandy. The reason Ryan Reynolds will never bother me, he can sell out as much as he wants because Ryan Reynolds knows exactly who Ryan Reynolds is. He knows exactly who he is.
So just to clarify, it's not even that Dwayne is playing the same role every time. It's not even that Black Adam is the exact same person he is in, what is that, Red Notice?
Yeah.
Is that like, that's the same character every time. The problem you have is that that's the wrong character for him to play every time. Because I think Ryan Reynolds does the same thing in every movie.
It has nothing to do with the characters he's playing. It's the person he wants to be in the industry that bothers me.
So like his whole like big boy, when he's like, I'm making moves at DC, where he's like trying to tell Henry Cavill he's back and like trying to strong arm the studio into making that stuff happen. And then presenting himself to the fans as if like, I'm in this with you. I'm your voice in the industry.
Right. Because
that's the thing.
Yes. Because if he is an inside man and can get things done, then he's terrible at it. And if he is not that, but he's telling everybody he is, then he's a
charlatan.
Pathetic. I don't know. It feels a little,
wow. Yeah.
It feels a little like lame in a way that is not like, oh, he collects scented candles. It's more like, after all this career, you still feel the need to puff yourself up when it's not true? Really? So it's either he is the worst mover and shaker ever, or he's lying about how much of a mover and shaker he is.
Desperately needs people to think he's a mover and
Bingo.
shaker.
I don't know.
Carter, have you banished
exhausted.
him, or is he only banished from the two of us?
I haven't banished him.
At this point, Dwayne being cast in a movie is a red flag to me.
This was the next question. So what would it take to at least head back up, like for you in terms of Dwayne? I'm not saying something that there's anything that can exist that'll be like, oh my God, he's back for me 100%. I know that's crazy. If we talk about the
sounds like a joke
relationships.
For me, the answer, and if you've been listening to our podcast, you know the answer. Mm-hmm. Sounds like a joke. Is him being in Fast 10.
Come back to Fast and Furious, man.
Come back, dude. Just swallow your
Vin's
ego.
Crazy, dude. You know Vin is insane.
Yeah. Let me even give you one better, because I think I know how to break this down a little bit for y'all. If Hobbs returns to Fast 10 and dies, somebody kills him.
Yep. He loses a fight for the first time in his acting career.
Are we headed up?
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. To me, it's the beef. The beef is so ridiculous between Vin and The Rock, where it's just like...
That was the beginning of the end for me with The Rock, I think. Where it was just like, hey, dude, like, this isn't real. Like, you know what this is.
Well, and it's like, hey, Rock, nobody's on Vin's side. Vin's a crazy person. But now nobody's also on your side because you're treating a crazy person like they're not crazy. And you're engaging in this beef rather than just being like, sorry, Vin, love you, dude. Let's do this movie together.
Sorry,
just
man.
Don't be ridiculous. You are not, I don't know, just be the charismatic big dude. That's what you're good at.
Yeah. Just be chill and fun.
Yes. I don't know, like if Ryan Reynolds was all of a sudden like, I'm a musician now, like a legit musician trying to make music, I'd be like, just stick to being charming and funny. He's a naturally funny person.
Aviation gin guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me sad, but often
Carter, what would it take for you to be back
then? The truth does. Huh?
What would it take for you to be back? Are you still in on the, like if he's cast in a movie that's like green flag, I'm going?
I mean, I'm in, but I'm wearing a hoodie. You know what I'm saying? I'm in, but
you don't want people to see you there.
I'm like, I'm up, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It is tough. What y'all are saying is like legitimate. I think when he got and then lost Cavill in maybe 2 months was when I was like, oh, okay. Bit of the facade there. But yeah, it does. He does take himself seriously. I think also when we watched Jingle All the Way at the end of the year, and I got to look at like a monumental politically
The Rock would
rumored
never.
and eventually becomes governor and stuff, but like there's just not as much genuineness to me. I don't know.
No.
Agreed.
No way.
I don't know. There's also not a ton of stories or anything about how like The Rock is actually an awful guy, at least.
No, I don't think he's a bad
that's
person
true.
at all.
Yeah.
I do not. This is not about his character. I think he's probably a very genuine and great person in
Honestly, seems
life.
like it's probably a manager or like a agent or something. Just like
the
hey, like-
navigation of his brand, I guess, huh?
yes. Yeah.
This was interesting. We'll have to come back to the banishing table at some point because I do think that these are things we don't talk a lot about in just loving TVs and movies, or at least vocalize a little bit more with a formula as to like, this is why.
Yeah,
but
dude.
these things happen all the time. That's why it's fun. Sometimes you have the people that are just completely off the radar and then they come back. Like we've seen like Robert Downey Jr. had a scenario where he was just kind of like, people were like,
He was
this
banished by everyone.
this dude, and then lo and behold, like becomes the foundational piece for something that's completely changed pop culture. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I just think it's a fascinating follow. To end today's episode, I'd love to have your name. The Rock had been in rumors and continually has to tell people, no, I'm not running for president. But we live in a world where things like that could be possible.
Please
To end today's episode, I'd love to have your name and tell me which movie star would actually make the best president. I'm Carter. I am convinced Gina Davis would be a wonderful president. She does so much for like immediate community and just outreach in the world. I had no idea. She had some kind of award that she got there's always like a lifetime achievement adjacent award in any of the award shows. And Gina Davis had one. And it turns out like she's just incredible advocate for like women's rights, gets really involved politically as much as she possibly can. I think she would be a good president of the United States. She's right about the age too, that it would be like, at least recently, being that old, it's like, no. Put him on the ticket.
I'm Doge, and this prestigious honor is going to go to one of my unbanishables. And that's the one and only Diego del Gorbo. I just love Guillermo del Toro so much. I think he's a wonderful, wonderful person. And I would like to have one of those be the president. Would you give that a try?
Of the United States?
He can't be the
Yeah,
president.
I guess so.
Huh?
He'd have to get citizenship, yeah?
He can be in this is my fantasy world. Guillermo del Toro can be president in my fantasy world.
I guess America's a fantasy to you. Okay.
I'm Jordan. My
I
serious
love it.
my serious answer is none of them. Please God, no. Please, none of them. My fun silly answer is Jack Black, obviously, and my playing by the rules answer.
We need like a chubby agile guy.
like a
as
chubby agile
president.
guy. Yeah.
Not
my-
since Taft have we had.
My play along answer is it seems like based on the news stories that were circulating around the time of Jeremy Renner's injury, that he has done more for his local community than almost any politician I've ever heard of.
You saw how he got hurt, right?
Mm-mm.
He was hurt because he was saving his nephew, pushing
no
his
way.
nephew out of the way of the runaway snowplow.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you saw the interview with the mayor. I can't remember what city he lives in, but the mayor saying that, like,
wait, are you about to do a plug for?
No, I'm not. I really not.
Show?
No, he gets
the mayor of Easttown.
Apparently, he like calls in. Mayor of Easttown is the
Yorktown, mayor of Yorktown,
Kingstown, I think,
starring Jonathan Abrams.
Kingstown.
But apparently, he like calls the mayor on a regular basis and is like, "What needs doing? Like, what do you need funding for? What needs help? How can I contribute?" And just
cool.
The general desire to help people in need rather than just hinder the people you don't like sounds so refreshing to me. You know, like, what if a politician wanted to do good instead of just do harm to people they disagree with?
Can you imagine?
Sounds interesting to me. I don't know.
Well, here he goes. Get him started.
I don't know. It just sounds interesting. What if instead of just owning your enemy, you owned the responsibility of the office? Playboy. How about that? I'm not ready for the next election. I'm going to implode.
Glory.
Austin?
Glory.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hallelujah.
That's not a bad
pretty
Elvis,
decent
actually.
Elvis,
That's a
actually.
pretty good Elvis.
Hey.
That's a pretty good Elvis.
Profusely. You can't see it.
You got those woolly mutton chops.
What was the special word, by the way?
Yeah, what's the word of the day?
The special word of the day was drip.
You're the only one that really says that with any
You
regularity.
say filtered drip.
No, he says espresso
all the time.
Drip. Espresso drip.
You're totally right.
That's something I have never said in my life.
Me neither.